Yo, what is going on, Steeler Nation? Welcome back to episode 402 of the Steel Factory podcast. My name is Rion. I'm joined by my co-host Junior today. How are we doing?
Doing good, doing good. I think pregame or preseason game number 2 really didn't do much for us,
Yeah,
but here we are.
it just kind of made everything that we thought that happened from preseason one kind of true, right? Um,
Yeah.
but we did see Russ play, which I mean, it's hard to put too much on him because the O line looked terrible, but he came out for about 5 possessions and he did not do jack shit. And that's my main concern because everyone assumed Russ would be the starter. It'd be cool to see Fields, get some reps in the preseason, kind of see where he's at, any progress he might have made over the offseason. Still not a lot there. He ended up playing the whole second half, basically, and still the Steelers only mustered 3 points, which is quite concerning. I mean, it is preseason. Let's preface that first. It is preseason. But yeah, what are your overall impressions from the game, and what do you think this means going forward into the last preseason game, which we will get into, and then ultimately, like, once the season starts?
I mean, like at the end of the day, it's the preseason, last preseason, we were fucking crowning ourselves. We were saying Kenny's back, that he's our guy.
The second year jump,
Um
all that.
yeah, and then obviously as soon as we got into the real season, none of that happened. It was all fake. Um so I mean, what I think we can tell, you know, is this is from like going on Twitter and really looking at a lot of people like analyze film and analyze some of the plays that were going on. Because I'm not super well versed in like offensive design and breakdown and like where a quarterback should be looking and what like defenses and stuff like that, right? But I do know who to go for that sort of stuff, right? And a lot of them were saying, okay, look, Russ is playing like he's not gonna make any winning plays, but he's not gonna make any losing plays at the same time. He's gonna get a sacks, but at the end of the day, like our O line looked like shit, and you could maybe say that's not his issue
A
as of
lot of
right
that
now.
was on Broderick on Saturday. People are saying he has like an elbow or an
Yeah,
arm thing. He couldn't get his, movements right on the get go, and he was just getting beat by, I
yeah,
think, Rousseau on the edge for the Bills every time. Um, I'm pretty sure that he kind of basically um, destroyed like 3 third down plays, and that led to all those 3 and outs. Um, it is what it is. I mean, we've kind of been saying that Broderick has kind of been put in a terrible situation here where he was drafted as a left tackle, still raw, but he was going to be a left tackle. Spent all last offseason as a left tackle, came in mid-season last year to play a right tackle. All of a sudden, looked good, looked solid, and then again, spent this whole offseason again. I remember Khan saying that Broderick is our future at left tackle. I'm assuming he probably was playing a little bit of what's it called? The switch, going from left to right side. Oh, swing tackle. Was kind of spending the offseason as a swing tackle.
oh yeah,
Again, Fontanu was a left tackle at Washington too, I believe, but they've already said he's going to be the right. Fontanu gets injured. Broderick has to come in at right tackle for the preseason game. Dan Moore still starting at left. And it just looked bad. It looked bad. It is worrisome. I think they got to just rip the Band-Aid off and put Broderick at left because we know that's inevitable. And I hope that happens once Troy gets back and he's starting at right tackle. But besides that, I think the PFF grades are pretty down for the whole line. But again, too, I mean, simple concepts. I don't think there's a lot to worry about there. I think you just got to figure out the O-line situation, the configuration.
yeah. I mean, people. I think people were bringing up. We had one of our linemen like go to the Rams, right? I think we sent him over for peanuts.
Dotson, yeah.
Dotson, and they were saying like instantly he became like really good and he even got paid with the Rams, which is great for him, right? And over here the whole time we're complaining that this guy's trash. So, some people were trying to say like, oh, let's pin this on the offensive line coach. Whereas I don't think that's really fair cuz I think the bigger factor in offensive line play getting so or being so like different just within two different offenses is a lot with like the blocking scheme they use and not necessarily the coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'm sure if he went to the Rams and they had the best O line coach, in the whole league, like he would obviously improve, right? But he would also improve like if they put him in blocking schemes that actually make a lot more sense or a lot more tailor made towards that specific play, instead of just some kind of zone blocking scheme, which really wasn't well done because our offense as a whole wasn't well done,
Yeah.
right? So you could
Yeah.
say I think the offense that they're in played a way bigger role in people moving to other teams and improving immediately.
I think Dotson also went back to his natural position, which again goes back to the whole Broderick thing that's been happening. Guys aren't playing in their natural positions. And I think you could say the same for Kendrick Green. We put him at center when he barely had like his senior year at center at college at Illinois. And then he went back to like right or left guard or whatever, and he looked pretty good at Houston. And again, Houston, good OC. I'm sure they have good fucking O-line concepts. But yeah, that's kind of our rants on the offensive line. I mean, it's starting to get frustrating because we are going on year 4, year 5 of rebuilding the O line when basically Villanueva went to the Ravens and Pouncey and DeCastro both retired that same year in 2020. Um, Still trying to
I
figure
want
it
to say
out,
it's been like
man.
2 years.
Well, 2021
This
is
is
when
year
we
two.
had.
I don't.
No, dude, 2021, we brought in Dan Moore and Kendrick Green. That was our first attempt. So this is like 21, 22,
No, but
23,
I
24
don't think
now.
that we've never. I don't think we've ever really invested any like
Yeah, because we thought we could.
any real capital.
Yeah, we thought we could in 2021, and then we're like, yeah, we just got to get the fucking best talent. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, and
yeah, we
I
really
think
invested in O-line
it's
this
also like
past year.
it goes with like also the changing of the GMs too. Like it seems like
Oh
Ron is
yeah,
making it much more of an emphasis of putting real
and
talent up front.
with Wydell too.
And yeah, no, and just going back to what you said earlier, you're right. I think a part of us, and I think a really big part of the fan base, wants us to just bite the bullet and put Broderick Jones at left tackle, Frazier at center, uh, Fontenot at right tackle, and then fill in the guards however we need, and just have those three guys be like our main anchor and focal points instead of all of this like, oh, we need to put like this like second tier guy in his preferred spot instead of putting this like first tier guy in his preferred spot. Like it feels really like jerry rigged together
Right.
instead of like setting up actual foundations for a good O line.
Yeah. But yeah,
But who knows?
we
It
got
might
to
be
figure
worse.
it out now. It's just hopefully come week 1, we realize that it's not working now in the preseason. Week 1, you just put Broderick at left. Troy comes back, plays right. We're sticking with the same 2 guards. And then Frazier looked good at center. Again, second round talent. We really invested good draft capital in our O line, and it shows when you have like these guys playing. But yeah, going on to the quarterback situation now. We kind of touched on this in the beginning. What I guess I think you could tell more from Fields than from what Russ did. Again, Russ played like 5 drives, and then I was at the game, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, they're still bringing him back in." It's like, all right, you had three and outs already. Just move on to the next guy. Let other guys get reps. But we still kept putting him in there. Nothing really happened. Again, we're putting a lot of that on the O line. Um, but yeah, what else can you say from Russ?
Russ, like I really wanted to say that Russ is a guy that won't win you games and he won't lose you games, but he might start falling into that tier of won't win you games in a really bad way. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like he's like if it's one thing to like do nothing and like have the run game and that kind of carry you, right? But it's another thing to like, wow, he's out there really just doing nothing, you know? Uh, like which would be bad, right? And you compare that to Fields, who is kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum, where it's like, fuck, this guy does everything, you know, and that can be really bad, right? Because Fields, like, it's almost like if Russ is completely in the middle, Fields is so far on both ends of the spectrum of really good and really bad that he's also in the middle. You know,
Right,
so
right.
it's like you gotta pick like what you want. Do you want to win and lose with Fields, or do you want to scrape by and potentially lose with Russ?
Yeah, because like I mean, for every
So
good play on Fields' part, like that scramble at the end of the first half, that was pretty sick. That was electric. You definitely saw the crowd finally get up out their seats after seeing Russ just basically stay on his own 25-yard line the whole first half. It was good to see that, but then what comes with that is that one play where it basically almost got picked off twice in the same play. Do you know the play I'm talking
yeah,
about? He like threw it at the goal line, batted back, came back,
yeah, yeah.
tried to fucking throw it again once he rolled out to the left, and it basically got swatted by a DB. I don't know, man. But at this point too, do you have a preference about who takes the field week one?
I think I'm more of a. I think I want to see Fields. I think he's a more exciting player than Russ. I don't look. I don't see us doing anything this year. You know, we might get into the playoffs again, and we might lose in the first round again. Um, but I think if we really wanted to like go for it, it's definitely like a Fields type of year. Like if we really wanted to like make a move
Yeah,
to like to to hit our ceiling, our ceiling is Fields' ceiling, and Fields is a generational athlete at quarterback, but
that
he's
can't
just
play
not a good
quarterback.
quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just really unfortunate, you know. And you're on Twitter and stuff, and you see like all of these tweets of Cope, of like, oh, actually,
Did you
this wide
think?
receiver like
Did you
slowed
think that
down
receive? Do you think he slowed down, or you think Fields just straight up threw a dart and not like a floater like he should
on
have?
it. It's tough to say. I have no idea, dude. Uh I want to. I don't know. I think Fields had some good throws, and I think actually I do think he might have slowed down because from something I've seen like across all of like the Fields discussion is that he's terrible like in like the dink and dunk kind of offenses, but like his deep ball's been pretty good
Yeah,
and consistent. So maybe I want to say that in that instance, like I think the evidence is probably more in Fields' favor. And sometimes like it's fucking hard, dude. It was like you're 2 feet away from a touchdown, but it's also a huge throw. It's a
yeah.
lot of mechanics and timing that go into that, and maybe it's just what it is at that point.
I do think he kind of like flattened out on that post because I think the ball did end up hitting like that back third of the end zone, so it was still in the field of play
Hmm.
clearly. Do think he kind of flattened out, and I do think he kind of slowed down and then did a last second fucking effort to just jump up as high as he can and try to get that ball. Um,
I
but
think I
yeah,
think Pickens
what?
gets that. Like,
Oh, for sure.
if
I
it's a
think he reads
question of
that
like
better. Yeah,
Pickens, yeah, yeah, Pickens definitely gets that. A better receiver definitely gets that. If we're talking about like who made the mistake, uh, our fourth string wide receiver or like a quarterback with a good deep ball, I mean, decent deep ball,
I don't even think
you
that was
know,
our fourth string,
if
dude.
oh fuck,
That was like our fifth or
all right,
sixth. I don't know, dude. We have like five fourth strings, I'd say.
yeah, we do. Our
Uh,
receiver room is looking pretty bad, so
does
hopefully
Ayuk
no
catch
Ayuk
that?
news yet.
Does Ayuk catch that?
I think Ayuk catches that. Uh, I think Ayuk catches that. Hopefully Ayuk
Segue.
catches
I
that once
think
we get a.
once we get a segue, yeah, I don't think any news has happened. I think it's still a lot of John Lynch throwing out smoke, trying to, play his cards right, but then, you can't finesse the con artist. Um,
I think, dude, Khan's gonna start leaking stuff about making moves for CD to push to push San
that's
Fran.
true. CD's out there complaining now on Instagram, so that's a good sign for us. Um, but yeah, I think this it still stays the same that we would really like Ayuk. I think we kind of need Ayuk. Uh, Definitely think he kind of what's the word here? Pushing the
Rounds out. Push the ceiling.
yeah, it pushes the ceiling. I forgot like all my go tos. No, I do think Ayuk moves the needle. That's what it is. I definitely still think
Moves
kind
the
of him.
needle.
I think it
Oh,
still moves the needle. Still not exciting watching Van Jefferson out there as our second receiver. Um,
he kind of looks
G.
like Ayuk with the hair.
Oh my god. How about that one GP play? Did you think Pickens caught that? I don't know who threw it to him. It probably was. Was it Russ? It was in the first time. Yeah, if GP was out there, then it had to be Russ. Russ like threw this one down the sideline, and I think like Pickens made a crazy effort to get in. Um, the refs said no. Tomlin challenged that, even when challenged that one too. Again, I don't want to bring it up, but Tomlin's challenges still look kind of shit. Um, it is a preseason though. I think Pickens was in on that one. That was a crazy play, crazy body control. I think he's still gonna be
It looked good to
George.
me.
It looked good. All right.
It looked good to me. I think he had it.
The few highlights of the game, I think there was only like one or two. Uh, um, but yeah, that's kind of gonna
That field
wrap.
scramble.
Oh, before we wrap this up, let's get into the third preseason game. We play the Lions on Saturday. Anything left to kind of look or expect? I know usually the last preseason game has like the fewest starters. I'm assuming Fields is probably gonna still be out
Hope
there. What do you
I
want? What
hope
do you
he's
hope to
out there.
see?
I think I want to see Fields, and I want to see him like be like Superman, basically. I want to see him how he played with the Bears a couple years ago,
Yeah,
where he was like just taking everything, and I want to see the reason that that all of these Bears fans have been coping on Twitter for the last 4 years about him. Like there's a reason that he's built up like a huge kind of fan base of like real like believers
yeah,
in his talent, and that he just needs to put it together. Um, and that he just hasn't had the team around him, and when they finally do have a team around him, they trade his ass. Uh, so I don't know. I want to see Fields. I want to see him really do everything to showcase his talent. If not for us, then for some other team next year, right? Because or maybe probably for us. I think Fields is gonna play by the end of the year.
yeah.
Fields is probably gonna take
I think
over.
if anything, Fields would really benefit from being on the sideline for like 6, 8 games. You know what I mean? Maybe the game slows down for him a little
Oh
bit.
yeah,
Again, going on a year 4, he started all of like his second and third year, part of his first year. But yeah, I'd like to see him come out, try to get some confidence in this last preseason game. You know what I mean? Something to take with him into the regular season, because it could be the last time he sees the field. So like week 6, week 7, week 8. You never know. Um,
definitely. That's the
again,
thing about quarterbacks is that the thing about quarterbacks is that dude, just getting in like actual game or like game time kind of reps
yeah.
is huge. Like look at like Goff like 6 years ago, he was kind of a joke, you know, but he just had so many fucking snaps all of his career that he's actually like really good now,
And yeah,
right?
same could be applied to any other quarterback. But yeah, we really want to try to see Fields this last preseason game. Again, I think we both kind of want to see Fields take over sooner rather than later. I think I am open to Russ starting the season, seeing what we have in there. Um, Kind of just getting that leadership to really start the season, and then hopefully things are going well. Or I don't know, things would kind of have to go bad for Fields to go in, right? But hopefully, we could kind of tread water. Fields comes in, and then we kind of just hit a good point. But yeah, we'll get into like our season predictions during that week in between this last preseason game and the regular season. We'll get into our season predictions, go over the schedule. Um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, getting back in the swing of things here. Um, yeah, any closing thoughts, bud? I think we lost you.
I think it's gonna
Oh,
be
we're back. Okay.
another weird season. I have a. It's gonna be like the Duck Hodges season.
Fuck. Yeah, Rudy's kind of cutting out here.
All right,
We got that
let's
last
just
thing
cut it
in.
off. It's
All right,
gonna
we're
end
good.
until
We're
I
good. Let me wrap it up. Let me wrap it up. We did get the Duck Hodges part though. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the links below. This has been Rayon. That's Junior. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and peace out. Go Steelers.